All right, just hold on real quick. Ooh. All right, working fine. All right. As always, I got to do an audio check to make sure because I don't got the best connection. So I just do this to make sure in the beginning that my live isn't lagging or anything like that. Turn this down. And as you guys know, today is Passover. Feel kind of bad because I couldn't get any lamb, and I need lamb, and they were sold out. So feel kind of bad now, but you know, they ain't had it for like a week, and it's really, really hard to get some meat. So especially lamb, and that's like my favorite anyway. So let me shut this down because I was just watching this. Well, let me just show you guys because I probably might talk about this at the end, like after I cover these chapters. I might show this video here. Let me blow this up. Let me show you guys. I'm right here on YouTube here. And the reason why I want to talk about this is because it's in a book that we don't have. And I feel that it's very, very much important to talk about. Okay, because the book of Esdras, let me just do this. Okay, the book of Esdras, for Ezra, or second Esdras, talks about the end times. And he gives us a series of signs. And I did a study on this already, but you know, I'm gonna read that one chapter of Esdras 5, and then I'm gonna go back to this video. And I want you guys to see this rhino walking down the street. And the reason why this is relevant, it all makes sense when I read out of Esdras about the wild beasts roaming beyond their hunts. Okay, but anyway, today we're going to be focused on the rest. Well, not the rest of Proverbs, but from 13 to 23. As yesterday I did 1 to 12. And I kind of wanted to incorporate doing this where I just get on here, read some chapters, and you know, let people hear it, and you know, give a little insight. And also sometimes I might do some like updates on prophecies if I'm doing studies like this, but I'm gonna create a show for it or dedicate it to prophecy updates. Excuse me, I'm looking in the chat. Lynn W, my prayers go out for you and the MK. Thank you, Lynn. I really appreciate that. But we're gonna stay focused on this study here. You know, I don't have any problem. I just want to make this known, Lynn, because you know, I don't hate anybody. I just hate the things that people do and the actions that they carry and the things they say and all that stuff. And especially if you don't have any understanding and someone's trying to explain something, you know, that's the only thing I hate. I don't hate people. I just hate evil, right? Our Father said to hate every evil work, right? That's what he told us. So I'm not calling people evil, saying the things that people do are evil, are wicked. But here we have this the book of instruction. This is why this is my favorite book, because when I first started reading my Bible, this was one of the books I went to, and this was like one of the books that was like, you know, an eye opener for me, especially when conducting oneself. So it says here, a wise son heareth his father's instruction, but a scorner heareth not rebuke. A man shall eat good by the fruit of his mouth, but the soul of the transgressor shall eat violence. And we see this plaguing our world today. We see this happening, right? Just look all over the world. You got all these all these citizens rising up against their governments. You got all this all these murders happening across the states, especially dealing with this so-called, CVS. I can't mention the name because I'll get banned, but you guys will know what I mean when I say CVS. Okay. Let's just say the jab. Okay. Ever since this whole thing happened, the murder rates have skyrocketed, right? Murder rates skyrocketed, gun buys went up, food is diminishing, right? It's hard to find meat in the store now, and it's only going to get worse as the days and years prolong. But let's continue here. He that keepeth his mouth keepeth his life, but he that open wide his lips shall have destruction. Right? You got a lot of people that don't think before they say things, and we have a clear example of this also in life. When it comes to children disrespecting their parents, or even when we're communicating with each other, right? We don't think about things before we say them, and we don't think them clearly through, right? That's why it says, he that keepeth his mouth keepeth his life, right? Because we get judged based off every word spoken. Let's bring that up real quick. This is in the New Testament. Every idle word, right? This is why I tend to be careful with the words I use and what I say out of my mouth. Because I know that in the end, Matthew 12:36 says, but I say unto you that every idle word that men shall speak, they shall give an account, therefore, in the day of judgment. So I want to make sure I'm getting judged based off what I said, right? So I don't want to say anything that, this is why I don't speak about stuff I don't know about, okay? Because it's just like walking into a battle and you don't got a weapon, right? If you know about, if you know about something, okay, cool, you got a weapon. Okay, that's your weapon. Let's just use an analogy here. But if you go into a battle and you don't have a weapon, you're bound to lose that battle. Okay. And after I get through with the book of Proverbs, I'm gonna go into Ephesians, do a study read the whole chapter, but I'm gonna break it up into days, probably like 7-8 chapters a day, something like that, something to that effect. I'm gonna figure that out. But as I see time going by, people, this needs to be done. Just look around in the world in your news, okay? As you guys see in my chat, tornado decimated Georgia, okay? So I gotta call my family in Kentucky and see if everybody in Georgia is okay. So the soul of a sluggard desireth and hath nothing, but the soul of the diligent shall be made fat. A righteous man hateth lying. Okay, this is what I like. This is it's also one of my pet peeves here, because we know that everything that is in this world is not true. We know that the world was given into the hand of the wicked one. We know that Satan is the ruler of this world for a short time. And we also know that he's given authority to do such things, certain things, right? Just take Job, for instance, right? Satan is just a tool, right? He's the test, right? He's the test. Just like when Job was tested, Job 1 and 2, right? So we get that clear understanding. It is scriptural for those that don't know and probably haven't read Job 1. They'll be thinking like, well, this guy just said God gives the devil authority to do things. Yes, he does. The devil has to get permission from God at all times to do whatever he wants, right? This is what it says here, right? And then he says, right, let's just go here. There was a man in the land of Uz, the name was Job, and that man was perfect and upright, and one that feared the Most High and eschewed evil. He hated evil, okay? And there were born unto him 7 sons and 3 daughters. And then he had all this substance here. And his sons went to go feast in his house and their brother's house every day. They were in there eating and drinking, getting drunk and all, right? We get that story. We get that same story, right? And then it says, and it was so when the days of their feasting was gone about, feasting were going about, that Job sent and sanctified them and rose up early in the morning and offered burnt offerings according to the number of them all. For Job said, it may be that thy sons have sinned and cursed God in their hearts. Thus did Job continually. So he had to keep making these, burnt offerings and these sacrifices here because his sons, his daughters, and he had to do it for each one of them, right? He had to make an offering for each one according to the number of them all, right? So then he had to, do that continually. And then it says, now there was a day when the sons of God, the Most High Yah, came to present themselves before the Most High, and Satan also came also among them. And the Most High said to Satan, whence comest thou? Now, this is the key. People don't take these scriptures for literal. He's literally walking up and down in the earth. He's going to and fro in the earth and walking up and down in it. Okay. That's where you get that. Be vigilant, be sober, for your adversary, the devil, walketh about like a roaring lion, looking whom he could devour. So he's on this earth. You better bet your bottom dollar he's here. And it says here, then the Most High said to Satan, hast thou considered my servant Job, that there is none like him in the earth, a perfect and upright man, one that fears me and eschews evil, right? And Satan said to him, doeth Job fear God for naught? Hast thou made an hedge about him and about his house and about all that he hath on every side? Thou hast blessed the work of his hands, and his substance is increased in the land. But put forth thine hand now and touch all that he hath, and he will curse thee to thy face. So this is, Satan, asking the Most High. He's like, yeah, you protect Job. Yeah, you gave him this great increase. Yeah, you blessed the work of his hands. But watch when you touch his stuff, because you know what happens when you're in the Most High's hands, right? He says here, if you touch his stuff, he's going to curse you. Let's see if Job cursed him, right? Because this was the test to see if Job would curse God. And the Most High said unto Satan, behold, all that he hath is in thy power. Only upon himself put not forth thine hand. So Satan went forth from the presence of the Lord. And then he went and did all this horrible stuff to Job. But he couldn't kill him. He killed his son and his sons and his daughters, tore down his house, took his cattle, killed his soldiers, ruined his city. And after all these things, it was just people after people coming to him. You get this whole thing, right? And it says, while he was speaking, there came another one, and and then Job arose and rent his mantle and shaved his head. You guys go read this. I'm trying to get back to Proverbs here, but just giving you an example of, how the devil has to get permission from God to do anything. Then Job rose and rent his mantle and shaved his head and fell upon the ground and worshiped and said, naked came I out of my mother's womb, and naked shall I return thither. And the Most High gave, and the Most High taketh away. Blessed be the name of the Most High. So he didn't curse God. He actually fell down on his face and worshiped the Most High. Okay. Even though the Most High allowed, Job still trusted God because he knew he was good. And he knew it was all for a purpose, right? But here we have this. It says here, a righteous man hateth lying, but a wicked man is loathsome, and cometh to shame. Righteousness keep him that is upright in the way, but wickedness overthroweth the sinner. There is that maketh himself rich. Talk about rich people. Okay, so this ain't just giving a breakdown. This is like you look into the world and you'll see everything in Proverbs, right? There is that maketh himself rich, yet have nothing. And there is that maketh himself poor, yet have great riches. The ransom of a man's life are his riches, but the poor heareth not rebuke. The light of the righteous rejoice, but the lamp of the wicked shall be put out. Only by pride cometh contention, right? Contention, right? But with the well-advised is wisdom. Okay, so, when people speak, like most people, many people speak in pride, but then, that brings what? Contention. And then you got these well-advised that bring wisdom, okay? So there's that contrast of, the two. This is the book that contrasts good and evil. So you'll know what did God classify as good and what did he say is evil, pertaining to like, what should we be saying and doing, right? Because even the words out of our mouth can be wicked, right? Wealth gotten by vanity shall be diminished, but he that gathereth by labor shall increase. Hope deferred maketh the heart sick, but when the desire cometh, it is the tree of life. Whoso despiseth the word shall be destroyed, but he that feareth the commandment shall be rewarded. And then it says here, the law of the wise, this is that word that, you guys know the guy I'm going to bring up, if, Perry, he hates this word law for some odd reason. But it says here, the law of the wise is a fountain of life. Well, that law is the fountain of life, right? To depart from the snare of death, to depart from the snares of sin. You got to know the law. Good understanding giveth favor, but the way of transgressors is hard. Every prudent man dealeth with knowledge, but a fool layeth open his folly. A wicked messenger falleth into mischief, but a faithful ambassador is health. Poverty and shame shall be to him that refuseth instruction, but he that regardeth reproof shall be honored. The desire accomplished is sweet to the soul, but it is abomination to fools who depart from evil. Okay, so people think it's foolish to depart from evil. Again, this is hint, Perry, right there. Okay. He that walketh with wise men shall be wise, but a companion of fools shall be destroyed. Again, a companion of fools will be destroyed. I just can't help but to say, Perry, these verses right here are just starting to fit you all the way, buddy. I might have to send you this link. Evil pursueth sinners, but to the righteous good shall be repaid. A good man leaveth an inheritance to his children's children, right? We know that when we have a grandfather, grandmother, father, mother, or something, they leave an inheritance if they own some property, right? Or they leave like, what is that? Life insurance and stuff, right? Anyway. And the wealth of the sinner is laid up for the just, right? Much food is in the tillage of the poor, but there is that destroyeth for want of judgment. He that spareth his rod hateth his son, right? You know that saying, you spare the rod, you spoil the child, right? Spare the rod, you spoil the child, right? He that spareth his rod hateth his son, but he that loveth him chasteneth him betimes. The righteous eateth to the satisfying of his soul, but the belly of the wicked shall want. All right, so we get this clear understanding of, contrasting of, righteousness and things that he pertains to be wicked. All right, now this is for the women. Hey, women, this you might love because you might catch yourself doing this. Every wise woman buildeth her house, but the foolish pluck it down with her hands. He that walketh in his uprightness feareth the Most High, but he that is perverse in his ways despiseth him. In the mouth of the foolish is a rod of pride, but the lips of the wise shall preserve them. There, where no ox are, the crib is clean, but much increased by the strength of the ox. A faithful witness will not lie, but a false witness will utter lies. A scorner seeketh wisdom and findeth it not, but knowledge is easy unto him that understandeth. Right? It's easy to understand when you have the knowledge given to you by our Father, right? Because he, like he said, his words are true. He'll open your eyes and then he'll give you the Holy Spirit that'll lead you into all truth, as the scriptures say. Go from the presence of a foolish man when thou perceivest not in him the lips of knowledge. Wisdom of the prudent is to understand his way, but the folly of fools is deceit. Fools make a mock at sin. Perry, are you in here, Perry? Let me check my chat. Perry, are you in here, Perry? Because I'm going to send you this link, Perry, just in case you're not in here. Fools make a mock at sin, but among the righteous there is favor. The heart knoweth his own bitterness, and a stranger doeth not intermeddle with his joy. The house of the wicked shall be overthrown. Oh, wait. Seems like something our friend Perry's going through. Well, but the tabernacle of the upright shall flourish. There is a way that seemeth right unto a man, but the end thereof are the ways of death, right? We all think that we have the answers, but we don't, unless we're getting it from the scripture here. That's why he said there's a way that which seem right unto man, but the end thereof are the ways of death, right? Even in laughter, the heart is sorrowful, and the end of that mirth is heaviness. This is talking about backsliders, those that repent, right? A backslider is a person that repents and they go back like a dog, returning to his vomit. And this is a parable, just so nobody don't think I'm saying that people are dogs, because people just take that part and, but here it is. Like a dog returning to his vomit. And it's in the scripture. See this Proverbs 20. Oh, well, this is going to be in the end or latter part of Proverbs, but this is Proverbs 26:11. And it says here, as a dog returneth to his vomit, so a fool returneth to his folly. So that's a parable. Right? He's just telling you, like a dog returning to his vomit, so does a fool return to his folly, return back to his error instead of correcting, right? That's going to be in tomorrow's study when I do, today is 13 to 23. Tomorrow is 24 to 30. So that's going to be covered tomorrow, but, a backslider in heart shall be filled with his own ways, and a good man shall be satisfied from himself. The simple believeth every word. I believe every word written here, from Genesis chapter 1 all the way to Revelation 22. Every word written is the truth. Okay, so I believe that. But the prudent man looketh well to his going. A wise man feareth and departeth from evil, right? We know that evil is the transgression of the law, right? If he says, look, let's bring up this. first, so you guys could understand what transgression is by the dictionary's version. And not only that, but we're going to go into Proverbs 14 and get the Hebrew word used here. And just to show you that they get these modern day definitions from these words that you find in this lexicon here. So we're in Proverbs 14. Proverbs 14, and then we're going to see where is this word being used at, right? Verse 16, right? Wait. Where am I at? What just happened? Wise man fear depart from evil. Oh, transgression. That's what I was talking about. Transgression is the breaking of the law. All right. So remember when he says in John, he who transgresses the law also commits sin, for sin is transgression of the law. And this is what transgression is in our dictionary: an act that goes against a law, rule, or code of conduct, an offense. And then you see here the synonyms: his offense, crime, or sin, right? Wrong, wrongdoing, misdemeanor, felony, right? Now let's go into here, and where is that transgress word here? Because still means the same thing. It won't change from chapter. Like say in the Old Testament, it might be a word, and in the New Testament, it might be a Greek word, but that's the only word that in both languages it doesn't change, because transgression means transgression, period, right? Okay, let's just do this. Let's just put in transgression, right? So then we could bring up all the verses where it speaks of it. So then you guys could, think about when you say next time it's impossible. And I'm going to do a study on that. Just giving you guys a rundown in what the laws say, because I think that a lot of people don't even know what the laws are, because I get a lot of people that say, there's no way possible you could keep all 613 laws. Well, all 613 laws don't apply to you, right? Those are just like I mentioned before. If you're not a farmer, if you don't own a farm, then you don't have to follow the farming laws. If you don't own cattle, you don't have to follow that law. You're not a cattle owner. If you're not a governor, you don't have to follow the laws that pertain to a governor, right? If you're not a high priest, you don't have to follow those laws. Now, everybody in the world must follow the 10 Commandments, period, right? Because the 10 Commandments is, first, love God with all your heart, all your mind, all your soul, and all your spirit. And then the 4 laws that pertain to that, this is why I tell people dealing with the 10 Commandments, you got 5 commandments for God, and you got 5 commandments for your fellow brethren. And this is what he means when he said, I didn't come to destroy the law or the prophets. I didn't come to destroy, but to fulfill, right? He came to do the work, walk the walk, show us how to walk it. And then he showed us openly his reward for walking his walk. That's why he commands us to walk his walk, right? So let's get this transgression, right? See how this transgression here is Hebrews 65:88, and this transgression down here is Hebrew word 46:04. Well, let's see what this 46, let's see what this one is first, this 65:88, transgression, and it's Pisha. Transgression, sin, rebellion, right? Transgression, rebellion. Transgress against individuals. Transgression against nation against nation, right? This is that Luke, Mark, and Matthew, right? Transgression, nation against nation, right? Transgression against God in general. as recognized by sinner, as God deals with it, right? Guilty of transgression, punishment for transgression, offering for transgression. And it says here, revolt, national, moral, or religious. Rebellion, this is a revolt. And this is for national, moral, or religious. Rebellion, sin, transgression, trespass, right? Like the Lord's Prayer, forgive us our trespasses as we also forgive those that trespass against us, right? So you have that understanding. That's that Hebrews, what is this, 46:88? No, 65:88. This 46:04, right, is mahal, right? And it also means trespass, transgression, falsehood, grievous, sore, trespass. And it says unfaithful or treacherous act, trespass against man, against God. So this basically, and it says here, treachery, i.e. sin. You see how this says the same one that ties in with the same word, but it's not the same number. This is what I mean when I say any way it goes, transgression is a transgression. It doesn't change, right? And then you go down here and it says Job 21, elsewhere only in the phrase, see examples cited above. And it gives you all these ones where it uses this word here, right? Leviticus, Numbers, and all, right? Let's get back into this. So we see that even in our dictionary, it tells us it's a sin, right? Even in our dictionary. So this is where they get their words defined, right? A wise man feareth and departeth from evil, but a fool rageth and is confident. He that is soon angry dealeth foolishly, and a man of wicked devices is hated. The simple inherit folly, but the prudent are crowned with knowledge. Even the evil bow before the good, the evil bow before the good, and the wicked at the gates of the righteous. The poor is hated even of his own neighbor, but the rich hath many friends. And you guys see this, right? I'm super poor, but I don't have a lot of friends. Why? Because I don't got no money to go do nothing. But those that have a lot of money, you'll notice that they got all these friends and they're miserable, right? He that despiseth his neighbor sinneth, but he that hath mercy on the poor, happy is he. Do they err that devise evil, but mercy and truth shall be to them that devise good. In all labor there is profit, but the walk of the lips tendeth only to penury. The crown of the wise is their riches, and the foolishness of fools is folly. A true witness delivereth souls. So when someone is being a true witness, they'll deliver your soul. How? Reading these words, right? Because if you read these words, you'll be like, wow. Hold on. You'll be reading these words and you'll be like, wow, I'm doing that. Maybe I need to change this. Maybe I need to turn this around, right? Maybe, like you'll have somebody that, let's take this for instance. Back up here for a second. You'll have people that, let me see, what does it say? A true witness, right? So where could I use an example of that? Just say, I covered this yesterday. Let's go into Proverbs 6 real quick. I covered this yesterday. Okay. We are told there's 6 things that the Most High hate, and 7 is an abomination. All right, so let's look at this real quick. This is just going to be a quick review. It's going to be a quick review of something I already covered yesterday. I covered Proverbs 6 yesterday. Okay, you guys go back to the previous video. But, this right here says this. These 6 things doeth the Lord hate. Yes, 7 are an abomination unto him. A proud look, a lying tongue, and hands that shed innocent blood, a heart that deviseth wicked imaginations, feet that be swift into running into mischief, a false witness that speaketh lies, and he that soweth discord among brethren. Okay, covered this, but this is what he means, right? A true witness delivereth souls, but a deceitful witness speaketh lies, right? And this is one of the things that he hates, right? He made it clear he hates people that speaks lies. So there are things that the Most High do hate. And it says here, in the fear of the Most High is strong confidence. We have to fear him, because if we don't fear him, then we'll go about thinking in this life, I could do whatever I want. Like Perry, I could do whatever I want and I'm still saved. And I go out and murder, and I go out and steal, and I go out and, abuse whoever I want. And, I got a free pass to do all these things, right? But again, that's a lie. So, it doesn't tie in with the scriptures. And this is why I read whole chapters, just in case there's any deception going on, I can catch it immediately. And his children shall have a place of refuge. The fear of the Most High is a fountain of life. So we're told to fear him, and then we'll have this fountain of life. I fear him daily, because I don't know if I die tomorrow, where am I going to go? Right. And we're told also in the scripture, right? Let's go to this one real quick. Just a little, it's still on topic, but we're told this: fear not him that can destroy the body. And the reason why I'm typing out the verses is because, it's said over and over in certain chapters, but I want to get the one that I'm looking for. And it's Matthew 10:28, because sometimes it says it a different way, but it means the same thing. So it says here in Matthew 10:28 says, and fear not them which kill the body, but are not able to kill the soul, but rather fear him which is able to destroy both soul and body in hell, right? We're supposed to fear him. If not, we're not going to be on the right page, right? We'll see who has the fear of the Most High in them just by their actions, okay? They'll carry on and do things he said don't do. Okay, so it says here, the fear of the Most High is a fountain of life, to depart from the snares of death, right? To depart from the snares of death. We know, sin is, that brings death, right? Sin brings death, right? But if we're walking in fear of him and his every living word, we're going to have it right on track. We're going to be like, you know what? I'm afraid to go to hell, so I'm going to do the right thing, right? I know nobody don't want to go there. Who wants to go there? No one, right? Oh, nice, Lynn. Sorry, I just popped in the chat real quick. I can't help what they do over there. I'm a woman of the Lord. I don't judge anyone ever, Melvin. I get judged all the time, so I stay home alone after my husband has passed, trying to be friends. Oh, look, Lynn, I don't have a problem with anybody if that's what you're thinking here. No. I mean, all is welcome. I don't care, man. I'm not worried about all that. I don't get upset about nothing like that. When I'm studying, I just be in the mode, Lynn. Sorry if I'm not answering, the chat, but I can't see it when I got my screen share, because I'm looking on another page and it's kind of covering the chat. But yeah, I don't have a problem. Don't worry about it. Anyway, let's get back to the study here. And the multitude of people is the king honor, is the king's honor, but in the want of people is the destruction of the prince. And then look at this. And this is crazy, because I was just talking about, I just popped in the chat and just, looked and seen that chat about what you said, Lynn. And look at what it says here. He that is slow to wrath is of great understanding, right? I don't get angry unless somebody really, really does something to really get on my nerves. And that's like, that's very rare that anybody could ever do that. But he that is hasty of spirit exalteth folly. A sound heart is the life of the flesh, but envy the rottenness of his bones. He that oppresseth the poor reproacheth his maker. Excuse me, guys, excuse me. But he that honoreth him hath mercy on the poor. The wicked is driven away in his wickedness, but the righteous have hope in his death, right? Wisdom resteth in the heart of him that hath understanding, but that which is in the midst of fools is made known. Righteousness exalteth a nation, but sin is a reproach to any people, right? So we understand that sin is also a big problem. We should be, rebuking any sinful acts as a form of edification, just to bring our brothers closer, to the Most High, right? Because it's also said here, it's also said here. And the reason why I'm bringing this stuff up is because I'm just sick of people saying that these laws are done away with, but the Messiah said different. Okay. It says here, he that saith, I know him, and keepeth not his commandments is a liar, and the truth is not in him. Okay. So it is very important that we must at all times practice. Practice makes perfect, right? We're told in the scriptures, right? A righteous man falls 7 times, right? This is what it says. Proverbs 24, we're going to cover this tomorrow. Says here, for a just man falleth 7 times and riseth up again, but the wicked shall fall into mischief, right? So we understand that we're all falling, right? We're going to keep falling. He says here, a just man falls 7 times, but he picks himself right back up and goes right back at that race we're racing, right? We're trying to finish a race. We're trying to get our reward. But first, we have to overcome the evil heart, okay? And that's in Esdras. For those that don't know Esdras, you probably won't understand that part, but you could go into my page here and you'll see I got a book of Esdras audio, and you guys can go listen to that. In the chat, I'm giving Bible references to where you guys could go and see and put it together while you listening to it and see if it's giving you a little bit more understanding to your scriptures that you don't understand, especially as Esdras, right? Let's just bring this up about Esdras after this is over with right here. Okay. The wisdom resteth in the heart of him that hath understanding, but that which is in the midst of fools is made known. The righteousness exalteth a nation, but sin is a reproach to many people. The king's favor is toward a wise servant, but his wrath is against him that causeth shame. All right, so all right, what was I going to do? Oh, yeah. Esdras, was that? Excuse me, guys. I just lost my train of thought. Let me go back a few seconds, see what I said. Pretty good that I could do this, though. Hold on. You might hear my video going in the background, but just give me a second. I got to remember what I said. Or if anybody can remember what I said, please pop it in the chat. I'm like half asleep. I ain't getting no sleep last night. It was just a long night. Anyway, I think I was going to go. That's what I was going to do. Esdras. Now I got it. Thank you. All right. So we're going to look into Esdras here. All right. So Esdras, right? Esdras is a Greco-Latin variation of the Hebrew name Ezra, the scribe. The name is found in the titles of several books attributed or associated with the scribe that are in or related to the Hebrew and Christian Bibles. Okay. It gives you a breakdown here about Esdras, right? And that's another thing. After the show, I'm going to read a chapter of Esdras dealing with the end times and get back into this. Why is this? To show you guys why I have this video waiting here, showing this rhino going through the city, right? It's going to make sense. Just hang tight until the end of the show. Now let's get into 15 here. As a matter of fact, I probably might cut it short at 15 because I got to get me something to eat, y'all. I'm sorry. I'm going to cut it short at 15, going to Esdras 5, 2nd Ezra 5, and then read from there and then look at this end times thing here. This end times right here. How we can tell, that we ain't got much longer, guys. Wait a minute. 15. All right. So we see here in verse 15, Proverbs chapter 15, a soft answer turneth away wrath, but grievous words stir up anger. The tongue of the wise useth knowledge aright, but the mouth of fools poureth out foolishness. The eyes of the Most High are in every place, beholding the evil and the good. So he sees everything, right? A wholesome tongue is a tree of life, but perverseness therein is a breach in the spirit. A fool despises his father's instruction, but he that regardeth reproof is prudent. In the house of the righteous is much treasure, but in the revenues of the wicked is trouble. In the lips of the wise disperse knowledge, but the heart of the foolish doeth not so. The sacrifice of the wicked is an abomination to the Most High, but the prayer of the upright is his delight. The way of the wicked is an abomination unto the Most High, but he that loveth him follow after righteousness, right? Righteousness is keeping his laws, right? We're told that in Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 25, right? And then it says here, correction is grievous unto him that forsaketh the way, and he that hateth reproof shall die. Hell and destruction are before the Most High. How much more than the heart of the children? How much more than the hearts of the children of men? A scorner loveth not one that reproveth him, neither will he go unto the wise. A merry heart maketh a cheerful countenance, but by sorrow of the heart the spirit is broken. I might just continue on and just go to 23 and then give this end times thing that's going on here. What is it? Where am I at? Oh, excuse me again. The heart of him that hateth understanding, half understanding, seeks knowledge, but the mouth of fools feedeth on foolishness. All the days of the afflicted are evil, but he that is of a merry heart hath a continual feast. Better is little with the fear of the Lord than great treasure and trouble with it therewith. Better is a dinner of herbs where love is than a stalled ox and hatred therewith. A wrathful man stirreth up strife, but he that is slow to anger appeaseth strife. The way of the slothful man is as a hedge of thorns, but the way of the righteous is made plain. A wise son make a glad father, but a foolish man despiseth his mother. Folly is the joy to him that is destitute of wisdom, but a man of understanding walketh uprightly. Without counsel, purposes are disappointed, but in the multitude of counselors they are established. A man have joy by the answer of his mouth, and a word spoken in due season, how good is it? By way of the life is above the wise, that he may depart from hell beneath. The Most High will destroy the house of the proud, but he will establish the border of the widow. The thoughts of the wicked are an abomination to the Most High, but the words of the pure are pleasant words. He that is greedy of gain troubleth his own house, but he that hateth gifts shall live. The heart of the righteous studieth to answer, right? We got to study these words to answer. So this is what I do daily. I read every chapter, meditate on it. It's like, eating, right? You want to enjoy your meal, right? This is spiritual food, and I enjoy every meal. But the mouth of the wicked poureth out evil things. The Most High is far from the wicked, but he heareth the prayer of the righteous. The light of the eye rejoiceth the heart, and a good report maketh the bones fat. The ear that hear the reproof of life abideth among the wise. He that refuseth instruction despiseth his own soul, but he that heareth reproof getteth understanding. The fear of the Most High is the instruction of wisdom, and before honor is humility. Okay, so let's go into this next chapter here. Chapter 16. And like I said, this book is the book that I read, and this is how I learned to correct myself. So this is a very good book to go and read, guys, if you want to, self-edify. And I'm not talking about, once you self-edify, once you take the plank out of your eye, then you can see clearly and take the beam out of your own brother's eye as well, right? That's in Matthew 7, I believe. The preparations of the heart in man, and the answer of the tongue is from the Most High. All the ways of a man are clean in his own eyes, but the Most High weigheth the spirits. Commit thy works unto the Most High, and thy thoughts shall be established. The Most High made all things for himself, yea, even the wicked for the day of evil. So we understand that he created wicked people for the day of evil. He makes that clear. He says, I'm the Lord. I create good and evil. I create light and darkness. Let me bring that up, because people are going to be like, what? What is he talking about? Look, watch. Let's go here. Isaiah 45, right? 7 and 9. It says here, I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, do all these things. Right? Drop down, ye heavens, from above, and let the skies pour down righteousness. Let the earth open, and let them bring forth salvation. Let the righteous spring up together. I, the Most High, have created it. Right? Woe unto him that striveth with his maker. Let the potshare strive with the potsherds of the earth. Shall the clay say to him that fashioned it, what makest thou, or thy work? He hath no hands. Right? Talk about the Most High when he's creating everything. He spoke everything into existence. He didn't use his hands to build stuff. All he said was, let there be light. And it was, like Genesis 1 says. He spoke everything into existence. He even spoke us into existence, right? If he didn't speak us into existence, we would never be born, right? Everyone that is proud in heart is an abomination unto the Most High. Though hand join in hand, he shall not be unpunished, right? By mercy and truth, iniquity is purged, right? Mercy and truth purges iniquity, right? If you're told the truth, people can see clearly, right? And then they could be like, well, look, this guy's reading all this stuff. Maybe I need to like right now, I know a lot of people are looking at themselves in the mirror. This is one of the things that I had to do. When I was reading this book, I looked at myself in the mirror and I was disgusted. I really was. I really, truly was disgusted because I was living just about half of this book the wrong way, you know? So that's why I, learned to humble myself and do all these things, right? This book made me humble. Proverbs. All right. But by the fear of the Most High, men depart from evil. When a man's ways please the Most High, he maketh even his enemies to be at peace with him. And this happens often in my life. A lot of people, and I'm not talking about here on YouTube. I mean, it's funny because it was this guy that, I knew a while back. The guy hated my guts for no reason. But ever since I started coming into the truth and spreading the truth, this guy, me and him actually started talking a little bit, getting to know one another instead of hating one another, right? It says here, better is a little with righteousness than great revenues without right. A man's heart devises his way, but the Most High directeth his steps. A divine sentence is in the lips of the king. His mouth transgresses not in judgment. A just weight in the balance are the Most High's, and all weights of the bag are his works. Here it is. It is an abomination to kings to commit wickedness, for the throne is established by righteousness. Well, our kings don't follow this, guys. A king is a ruler, a leader of a nation. Our kings don't follow this here. They don't think committing wickedness is an abomination. They just right now in our day and age, they go about just going willy-nilly, right? Creating all this stuff, all these weapons and missiles and guns and bullets and all this stuff. You guys know what I'm talking about. All right, righteous lips are the delight of kings, and they love him that speaketh right. The wrath of a king is as messengers death, but a wise man will pacify it. In the light of the king's countenance is life, and his favor is a cloud of the latter rain. How much better is it to get wisdom than gold, and to get understanding rather to be chosen than silver, than silver. The highway of the upright is to depart from evil. This whole book, when I kept looking at this, I said, man, I'm just wicked. Because I was doing all these other things that he was speaking against. And I was like, and I read this part, this about the highway of the upright. And then I started asking myself, what does it mean to be upright? And then I started looking at scriptures about being upright. And I was like, wow. So even the words we speak. And then I was like, every time when I wanted to tell a lie, when I started, practicing this, I couldn't. I just couldn't. It was like, no matter how bad I wanted to tell somebody a lie, I just couldn't, right? Couldn't come out my mouth. Let's see here. Let me check my connection because I know my Wi-Fi here is sucky. Sorry. But first, we have... And that's in Esdras. Okay, so it's working fine. I'm not getting lag. The highway of the upright is to depart from evil. He that keepeth his way preserveth his soul. Pride goeth before destruction, and the haughty spirit before a fall. Better is it to be of a humble spirit with the lowly than to divide the spoil with the proud. He that handleth a matter wisely shall find good, and whosoever trusteth in the Most High, happy is he. The wise in heart shall be called prudent, and the sweetness of the lips increase learning. Understanding is a wellspring of life unto him that hath it, but the instruction of fools is folly. The heart of the wise teacheth his teacheth. Wait. The heart of the wise teacheth his mouth, and addeth learning unto his lips. Pleasant words are as an honeycomb, sweet to the soul and health to the bones. There's a way. Here's another one, right? This is for Perry. If you're in here, Perry, or Randall. Let me see if Randall's in here. Randall. Randall Bustard, are you in here, buddy? Well, let me check real quick. Let me see. Randall, are you in here, Randall? Yeah, he's probably viewing on Facebook. Anyway, it says here, if you're looking, Randall, there is a way that seemeth right unto man, but the end thereof are the ways of death, right? So, Randall, if you keep telling people that the law is going to bring them death, well, the Most High says different. So you might want to get it right. You might want to tell Perry to teach you right. Or just come on over here, Randall. You might learn a little bit more. He that laboreth for himself, for his mouth craveth of it of him. An ungodly man diggeth up evil, and in his lips there is as a burning fire. A froward man soweth strife, and a whisperer separateth chief friends. So whispers separate friends, right? This is what that's saying. A violent man enticeth his neighbor and leadeth him into the way that is not good. Randall, you guys have been enticed and you're being led into a way that is not good. I pray for you guys every day. Please wake up. He shutteth his eyes to devise froward things. Moving his lips, he bringeth evil to pass. A hoary head is a crown of glory, if it be found in the way of righteousness. He that is slow to anger is better than the mighty, and he that ruleth in his spirit than he that taketh a city. The lot is cast into the lap, but the whole disposing thereof is of the Most High. All right, so the Most High is going to dispose, right? Let's get into 17. I probably might just go up to 20 and then get into this video, and I'm going to have to do this, put this at the bottom of the screen, because Melanie Kalberneck here, she's a good woman. She puts out a lot of good content, and, you know, where is this at? Oh, here we go. So you'll see at the bottom, when I use other people's content or their channel, I'll throw that one down there, or I'll throw this copyright little scrolling thing down there. But I'm going to leave this copyright thing down here for when I play the video, so that, well, she's not copywritten. She doesn't have a copyright because she's demonetized. I'm just keeping it on a safe side, so nobody don't think that I'm using other people's content without, at least giving them recognition, right? So it says and I encourage you guys go and sub to her. If you want to see events going on around the world, sub to there. She covers a lot of things, right? The preparations of the heart in man and the answer of the tongue is from the Most High. All the ways of a man are clean in his own eyes, but wait, did I read this already? I read this already, didn't I? No, I didn't. Yes, I did. Why did I? Oh, my boy. I pressed enter. Why didn't go search it? Anyway, better is a dry morsel and quietness therewith than a house full of sacrifices with strife. A wise servant shall have a wise servant shall have rule over a son that causeth shame, and shall have part of the inheritance among the brethren. The finning pot is for silver and the furnace for gold, but the Most High trieth the hearts. So when he says he's going to purify, he's going to purge us with fire, right? He's going to purify us like, gold refined in the furnace, right? A wicked doer giveth heed to false lips, and a liar giveth ear to a naughty tongue. Whoso mocketh the poor reproacheth his maker, and he that is glad at calamities shall not be unpunished. Children's children are the crown of old men. Great grandchildren are the crown of old men, and the glory of children are their fathers, right? But we live in this system. Well, my people live in this system where our fathers have been taken out of the house, and there's a lot of people, not just my people, but a lot of people in the world that grow up without a fatherless home. Grow up in a fatherless home, no guidance, none of that, right? Excellent speech becometh not a fool, much less do lying lips a prince. A gift is as a precious stone in the eyes of him that hath it. Whithersoever it turneth, it prospereth. He that covereth a transgression seeketh love, but he that repeateth a matter separateth very friends. A reproof entereth more into a wise man than 100 stripes unto a fool. An evil man seeketh only rebellion. Perry, Randall. Oh, Randall must have been in here because I got one less person in here. Okay. Therefore, a cruel messenger shall be sent against him. Let a bear robbed of her whelps meet a man rather than a fool in his folly. Whosoever rewardeth good for evil, evil for good, evil shall not depart from his house. The beginning of strife is when one letteth out water. Therefore, leave off contention before it be meddled with. He that justifieth the wicked, right? Again, Perry, these scriptures keep reminding me of you and your parent crew. He that justifieth the wicked, and he that condemneth the just, and you do condemn the just, right? You go about calling everyone a sinner, but you're committing them. This is very, very amazing. I hope look, we got him. Randall, or was that you, Randall, or was that Perry that just left? All right, let's see. He that justifieth the wicked and he that condemneth the just, even they both are abomination to the Most High. Well, there you have it. Stop committing those abominations over there, Perry. Wherefore is there a prince in the hand of a fool to get wisdom, seeing he hath no heart to it? And the reason why I'm mentioning Perry is because Perry did a video about me, guys. Going over to his channel. Let's see. Because I remember I went over to Perry's channel and he just did a recent video about me, but I didn't watch it. Let's look here. Back to scripture. Let's go here. Video. What day was that? Real people, real questions, real answers. I don't think that was it. Oh, here it is. 1 month ago. Okay. Well, where's that other one I seen in here? Well, one of these videos I seen that I was being mentioned here. Wait, is this, can you handle the truth? No, that's a live. Because I believe Perry said something to the effect of something that happened, you know, made a video about it. But I could be wrong, right? But anyway, I remember Perry was saying something about making a video about me over there in Nick's channel one day. So I went over there. I'm going to just look before I even say anything because, you know, he makes these little titles and then, you know, he goes about talking about me in the videos, right? Or he'll say, like, you know, he got so many videos over there. I guess I'm his favorite, right? Because I read these words in full. But anyway, Perry, if you're in here, buddy, please come and join the conversation in the chat. Not on my channel, though, because you're not going to parrot that sinless garbage here. Only way you're sinless, Perry, is if you're keeping those laws. And that's not believing on, you know, what the Messiah came and died. He finished the work to show you how to do it. That's the whole point of walking as he walked, okay? So here it is. Wherefore is there a price at the hand of a fool to get wisdom, seeing he hath no heart to it? A friend loveth all the times, at all times. Look, I love my friends at all times. Like, you know, I got a friend that has epilepsy, right? So at any given day, he could have a seizure. And so I go down there and check on him. You know, we grew up since little kids and, you know, so that's that. So when you guys see me on those bike rides going to that, where I'll be going, that's just me going down there checking on my friend that got epilepsy. And a brother is born for adversity. A man void of understanding striketh hands, and becometh surety to the presence of his friends. He loveth transgression that loveth strife, but he that exalteth his gate seeketh destruction. He that hath a froward heart findeth no good. He that hath a perverse tongue falleth into mischief. He that begetteth a fool doeth it to his sorrow, and the father of a fool hath no joy. A merry heart doeth good like a medicine, but a broken spirit drieth the bones. A wicked man taketh a gift out of the bosom to pervert the ways of judgment. Wisdom is before him that have understanding, but the eyes of a fool are in the ends of the earth, right? Are in the ends of the earth. It's many places that just make me question, why is it the Bible talk about that? But that'll be a biblical study just going into scripture. When I get my telescope, I'm going to try and do my best to get some proof, right, of what I believe in, because it's on the way. A foolish son is a grief. Oh, that's an announcement I wanted to make. Guys, I ordered me a nice telescope, a little $400 or I think $300 telescope. So I'm going to do this horizon experiment. If I could zoom in on planets at 238,000 or whatever, 4 billion or million or however millions of miles away it is, I should be able to point my telescope at the horizon, zoom in as far as I can go, and I should be able to see a drop in this earth. Okay. So I'm going to be getting ready to do that pretty soon. Once it comes, you guys will know when I do. A foolish son is a grief to his father, and bitterness to her that bear him. Oh, excuse me. Sorry, I had to let that out, guys. I'm sorry. Also, to punish the just is not good, nor to strike princes for equity. He that hath knowledge spareth his words, and a man of understanding is of an excellent spirit. Even a fool, when he holdeth his peace, is counted wise, and he that shutteth his lips is esteemed a man of understanding. All right, so guys, I'm gonna cut this. Let me see. I'm gonna do Proverbs 18 to let's do 18 to 25 tomorrow. So I'll make that a continuation, 18 to 25 tomorrow. But I want to get into this because again, we're getting close, right? So let's go here to Esdras 5. A lot of people might leave because they say they don't find this canonical, but if you sit and listen, you might learn something that you ain't learned yet. Oops. Revised Standard Version, RSV. All right. So according to, again, signs of the end, right? And I'm just going to play a short clip here and check this rhino out walking in this city. Okay. They say climate change here. So it's a lot going on in the world. This world is falling fast, guys. So look at this. That's why I got this copyright thing up, just in case it is copyrighted. But I will throw up this one, encouraging you guys, if you want to see more of this channel, right, you can go and sub there if you want to get updated on, natural disasters occurring around the world, right? So, and strange events as well. Look at this rhino, and then I'm going to read Esdras, and you're going to be like, wow. Watch. Watch. Look at this. Dog. This dog mess with the rhino. Okay. Rhino walking through the city, right? Now, why am I showing this? Well, according to Esdras, this is one of the signs of the end times, right? And it's going to occur more and more, okay? Now, let's get into the book of Ezra here so I can show you why I just showed you this rhino walking in the street, right? You see this says signs of the end, okay? So Ezra had prophecies of the end times in great detail. He was given more than Daniel the prophet, right? And as we know, Esdras is Ezra, right? He just had his name changed, right? Like Jacob is now Israel, and Abram is now Abraham, and you get the picture. It says here, now concerning the signs, behold, the days are coming when those who dwell on earth shall be seized with great terror, and the way of truth shall be hidden, and the land shall be barren of faith, and unrighteousness shall be increased beyond what you yourself see, and beyond what you have heard of formerly. And the land which you now see ruling shall be waste and untrodden, and men shall see it desolate. But if the Most High grants that you live, you shall see it thrown into confusion after the third period. And the sun shall suddenly shine forth at night, and the moon during the day. Blood shall drip from wood, and the stone shall utter its voice. The people shall be troubled, and the stars shall fall. And that's going to happen this year. Stars are going to be falling. Actually, they are falling, right? Stars are already falling. They're what you call meteors, right? Those are just stars falling. They'll tell us it's anything else to keep us from knowing what the prophecies actually say, right? That's why NASA and all these newscasters keep telling us it's meteors when they're really just falling stars, right? But again, the news don't give us the truth. And one shall reign whom those who dwell on earth do not expect, and the birds shall fly away together, and the sea of Sodom shall cast up fish, and one of who many do not know shall make his voice heard by night, and all shall hear his voice. And here's one of the signs we see right now. And there shall be chaos also in many places. Just look around the world, right? And fires shall often break out. And here's this sign that I'm showing you. And wild beasts shall roam beyond their hunts, right? That means wild beasts are going to be in the most unlikely places, like this rhino I just showed you, roaming beyond its hunt. What's a rhino doing in the city? Roaming beyond its hunt, right? And menstruous women shall bring forth monsters, and salt water shall be found in the sweet. And all friends shall conquer one another. Then shall reason hide itself, and wisdom shall withdraw into its chambers. And it shall be sought by many, but shall not be found. And unrighteousness and unrestraint shall increase on the earth. And one country shall ask its neighbor, has righteousness or anyone who does right pass through you? And it will answer, no. At that time, men shall hope but not obtain. They shall labor, but their ways shall not prosper. These are the signs which I am permitted to tell you. And if you pray again and weep as you do now and fast for 7 days, you will hear yet greater things than these. And then it says the conclusion of the vision. This is where Esdras given this conclusion of what's going to happen in the last days. Then I awoke, and my body suddenly shuddered violently, and my soul was so troubled that it fainted. But the angel who had come and talked with me held me and strengthened me and set me on my feet. Now the second night, Fatil, I don't know how to pronounce that, a chief of the people came to me and said, where have you been? Or why is your face sad? Or do you not know that Israel has been entrusted to you in the land of their exile? Rise therefore and eat some bread, so that you may not forsake us like a shepherd who leaves his flock in the power of cruel wolves. Then I said to him, depart from me and do not come near me for 7 days, and then you may come to me. He heard what I said and left me. So I fasted 7 days, mourning and weeping, as Uriel the angel had commanded me. Ezra's second prayer. It says here, after the 7 days, the thoughts of my heart were very grievous to me again. Then my soul recovered the spirit of understanding, and I began once more to speak words in the presence of the Most High. And I said, O sovereign Lord, from every forest of the earth and from all the trees thou hast chosen one vine, and from all the lands of the world thou hast chosen for thyself one region, and from all the flowers of the world thou hast chosen for thyself one lily, and from all the depths of the sea thou hast lifted thyself one river, thou hast filled for thyself one river, and from all the cities that have been built thou hast consecrated Zion for thyself, and from all the birds that have been created thou hast named for thyself one dove, and from all the flocks that have been made, thou hast provided for thyself one sheep. And from all the multitude of peoples, thou hast begotten for thyself one people. And to this people whom thou hast loved, thou hast given the law, which is approved by all. And now, O Lord, thou hast given, why hast thou given over the one to the many, or dishonored the one root beyond the others, and scattered thine only one among the many? And those who oppose thy promises have trodden down those who believe thy covenants. If thou doest really hate thy people, they should be punished at their own hands. So this is a response to Ezra. When I when I had spoke these words, the angel who come to me on a previous night was sent to me and he said to me, listen to me and I will instruct you. Pay attention to me and I will teach you more. I will tell you more. And I said, speak, my Lord. And he answered me and he said to me, are you greatly disturbed in mind over Israel? Or do you love him more than his maker? When he's talking about Israel, he's talking about Jacob, right? Genesis 32 tells us this. That's why he says, are you greatly disturbed in mind over Israel, or do you love him more than his maker does, right? Let's check this out. Genesis 32, right? We already know this story about Jacob wrestling with the angel, right? Touched the hollow of his thigh. And then he said, bless me. He said, I'm not going to, right here. Says right here, where is it? All right. Where is this verse at? Where Jacob's name is turned to Israel. Right down here. All right. Foremost, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Okay. Oh, here it is right here. And this is Jacob wrestling, and Jacob was left alone, and there he wrestled, and there wrestled a man with him until the breaking of day. And when he saw that he prevailed not against him, he touched the hollow of his thigh, and the hollow of Jacob's thigh was out of joint, and as he wrestled with him. And he said, let me go, for the day breaketh. And he said, I will not let thee go, except thou bless me. And he said unto him, what is thy name? And he said, Jacob. Now here's the part that you need to realize, right? When it says Israel, he's talking about Jacob, right? And he said, thy name shall be no more is Jacob, but Israel. For as a prince, thou hast power with God and with man and hast prevailed. Okay. So this gives you a clear understanding here when he says, and he said unto me, are you greatly disturbed in mind over Israel, or do you love him more than his maker does? Right. And I said, no, my Lord, but because of my grief, I have spoken. For every hour I suffer agonies of heart while I strive to understand the way of the Most High and to search out part of his judgment. And he said to me, you cannot. And I said, why not, my Lord? Why then was I born? Or why did not my mother's grave become my mother's womb become my grave, that I might not see the travail of Jacob and the exhaustion of the people of Israel? He said unto me, count up for me those who have not yet come, and gather for me the scattered raindrops, and make the withered flowers bloom again for me. Open for me the closed chambers, and bring forth for me the winds shut up in them. Or show me a picture of a voice, and then I will explain to you the travail you ask to understand. And I said, O sovereign Lord, who is able to know these things except he whose dwelling is not with men? And he said, as for me, I am without wisdom, and how can I speak concerning these things which thou hast asked me? And he said to me, just as you cannot do one of these things that were mentioned, so you cannot discover my judgment or the goal of the love that I have promised my people. And it says, why successive generations have been created, right? I said, yet behold, O Lord, thou dost have charge over those who are alive at the end. And but what will those do who were before us, or we, or those who come after us? And he said to me, I shall liken my judgment unto a circle, just as for those who are last, there is no slowness. So for those who are first, there is no haste. Remember that verse in the Bible? Those who are last will be first, right? I'm just going back and forth through the Bible so you guys can see how Esdras here ties in with scripture. So the last shall be called first, and the first last. For many be called, but few chosen, right? That says this in your Matthew 20:16. And it states it right here. I shall liken my judgment unto a circle, just as for those who are last there is no slowness, so for those who are first there is no haste. And I answered and said, couldst thou not have created at one time those who have been, and those who are, and those who will be, that thou mightest show thy judgment the sooner? And he replied to me and said, the creation cannot make more haste than the Creator, neither can the world hold at one time those who have been created in it. And I said, how hast thou said to thy servant that thou wilt surely give life at one time to thy creation? If therefore all creatures will live at one time, and the creation will sustain them, it might even now be able to support all of them present at one time. And he asked me, ask a woman's womb and say to her, if you bear 10 children, why one after another? Request it therefore to produce 10 at one time. Well, this is common sense. You know a woman can't push out 10 children at once. And he says here, I said, of course not. Of course it cannot, but only each in its own time, right? So we understand these are parables that's being explained here. And he says, even to me, and he said to me, even so have I given the womb of the earth to those from time to time are sown in it. For as an infant does not bring forth, and a woman who has become old does not bring forth any longer, so have I organized the world which I have created. And then it says, how and when will the end come? This is the best part, because we see this happening right now, people. Just look in the world. Watch this. Then I inquired and said, since thou hast given me the opportunity to speak, let me speak before thee. Is our mother, he's talking about the earth right here, right? You're going to get this understanding, because this is about how, when and how the end will come. So when Ezra's talking and asking this angel, he's talking about the earth, right? Remember, we just covered this at the top. You know, the earth is the womb, right? So says, then I inquired and said, since thou hast given me the opportunity, let me speak before thee. Is our mother, of whom thou hast told me, still young, or is she now approaching old age? He replied to me, ask a woman who bears children, and she will tell you. Say to her, why are those whom you have borne recently not like those whom you bore before, but smaller in stature? And she herself will answer you, those born in the strength of youth are different from those born during the time of old age, when the womb is failing. Therefore, you also should consider that you and your contemporaries are smaller in stature than those who were before you, and those who come after you will be smaller than you, as born of a creation which is already aging and passing the strength of youth. And I said, O Lord, I beseech thee, if I have found favor in thy sight, show thy servant through whom thou doest visit thy creation. So let's go into chapter 6 and figure this out, right? Because, stopping there, you're not going to understand that part. So let's continue on into chapter 6, because I like prophecy. I love prophecy, right? So let's read this, right? This also corroborates Isaiah, right? Just to bring this out, Isaiah 40:22, right? So we see in Isaiah, we're going to see the same thing said in Ezra 6, right? And he said unto me, at the beginning of the circle of the earth, right? And you're going to get all this, Ezra saw all the portals and all that stuff, right? He's going to give you a rundown, but let's look in the scriptures and see if this ties in also. It is he that sitteth upon the circle of the earth, and the inhabitants thereof are as grasshoppers, that stretcheth out the heavens as a curtain, and spreadeth them out as a tent to dwell in, right? So let's go back here in Ezra's. And he said to me, at the beginning of the circle of the earth, before the portals of the world were placed, and before the assembled winds blew, and before the rumblings of thunder sounded, and before the flashes of lightning shone, and before the fountains of paradise were laid, and before the beautiful flowers were seen, before the powers of the movement were established, before the innumerable hosts of angels were gathered together, and before the heights of the air were lifted up, and before the measures of the firmaments, right? So we get that in Genesis, right? In Psalms 19, right? So we get that in the creation account, right? Genesis 1, Psalms 19:1, and a host of other scriptures that also mention this firmament here. And it says, before the measures of the firmaments were named, and before the footstool of Zion was established, and before the present years were reckoned, and before the imaginations of those who now sin were estranged, and before those who store up treasures of faith were sealed, then I planned these things, and they were made through me and not through another, just as the end shall come through me and not through another. The dividing of times. This is when you get into Daniel, right? Look at Daniel 12 here. You're going to get a better understanding of the dividing of times. When Daniel 12 states here, right? He says, at that time shall Michael stand, the great prince of which standeth for thy children, the children of thy people, and there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even to that time. This is talk about the end times. And at that time, thy people shall be delivered, every one that shall be found written in the book of life. And many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall wake, some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt. But they that be wise shall shine like the brightness of the firmament, right? And they that turn many to righteousness as the stars forever. But thou, O Daniel, shut the words and seal the book even till the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased, right? And I, Daniel, looked, and behold, there stood two on. Okay, he's talking about this guy clothed in linen. Let's get this thing about the division of times, right? He says here, one said to the other man clothed in linen, which was upon the waters of the river, how long shall it be to the end of these wonders? And I heard the man clothed in linen, which was upon the waters of the rivers, when he held up his right hand and his left hand unto heaven, and swear by him that liveth forever, that it should be for a times, and half, right? And when he shall have accomplished to scatter the power of the holy people, all these things shall be finished, right? So we get this in Esdras, right? In the dividing of time. Same story, just taking out the Bible. And I answered and said, what will be the dividing of times, or when will be the end of the first age and the beginning of the age that follows? Okay, I'm just going to read this anyway, because this is what it says, and it also says it in your Bible. But a lot of people I know take offense to this whole Jacob and Esau thing, but I'm going to read it as it is. Okay, and it says it. I didn't write it. No one else wrote it. These are the words of the Most High, and it's also stated in the Bible. But that doesn't mean, the descendants of Esau are not going to make it in, okay? So people need to study more to figure that stuff out. So it says here, and he said unto me, from Abraham to Isaac, was because from him were born Jacob and Esau. Remember, these are the children of the promise, right? From Abraham to Isaac, because from him were born Jacob and Esau. For Jacob's hand held Esau's heel from the beginning. For Esau is the end of this age, and Jacob is the beginning of the age that follows. For the beginning of a man is his hand, and the end of a man is his heel. Between the heel and the hand, as seek for nothing else, Ezra, right? He even uses his Hebrew name here, Ezra, right? And then you go here, Ezra, right? Just to show you that Ezra is indeed in the Bible. Ezra 1, King James Bible. Now in the first year of Cyrus, right? King Cyrus. He was in King Cyrus' time. More signs of the end, right? This is why I wanted to read this, more signs of the end, so we get a better understanding of what the end is going to look like, right? But everything must be read, so all things must be understood, okay? That's why he said in Revelation 22, the very last 4 verses, don't add to and don't take out, right? That's how a lot of confusion happens when we add to or take away. Says here, I answered and said, O sovereign Lord, if I have found favor in thy sight, show thy servant the end of thy signs, which thou didst show me in part on a previous night. And he answered me and says, rise to your feet, and you will hear a full resounding voice. And if the place where you are standing is greatly shaken while the voice is speaking, do not be terrified, because the word concerns the end, and the foundations of the earth will understand that the speech concerns them. They will tremble and be shaken, for they know that their end must be changed. When I heard this, I rose to my feet and listened, and behold, a voice was speaking, and its sound was like the sound of many waters, right? Where we get this? Revelation 1, right? Revelation 1, right? Go down here. This is the revelation of Yehoshua, who you guys call Jesus Christ. Hebrew name's Yehoshua. So it goes down here. John's having a vision. This is the only place, well, one of the many places you're going to see the description, what the Son of Man looks like, right? Son of Man. His head and his hairs, right, were white like wolves, white as snow, his eyes, okay. So here it says right here, I got to read this. And his feet were like unto fine brass as they burned in the furnace, and his voice as the sound of many waters, right? So we hear the same voice, the sound of many waters, right? A voice was speaking, and its sound was like the sound of many waters. So we know that Ezra's, hearing this same voice, right? And it said, behold, the days are coming, and it shall be that when I draw near to visit the inhabitants of the earth, and when I require the doers of iniquity the penalty of their iniquity, and when the humiliation of Zion is complete, and when the seal is placed upon the age which is about to pass away, then I will show these signs. He says this is what he's going to do. The books shall be opened before the firmament. Now, I find it very, very fascinating that he says the books are going to be opened before the firmament, and all shall see it together, right? Infants a year old shall speak with their voices, and women with child shall give birth to premature children at 3 or 4 months, and these shall live and dance. Sown places shall suddenly appear unsown, and full storehouses shall suddenly be found to be empty. And the trumpet shall sound aloud, and when all hear it, they shall suddenly be terrified. At that time, friends shall make war on friends like enemies, and the earth and those who inhabit it shall be terrified, and the springs of the fountains shall stand still, so that for 3 hours they shall not flow. And it shall be that whosoever remains after all that I have foretold to you shall himself be saved and see my salvation in the end of my world. And they shall see the men who were taken up, who from their birth have not tasted death, and the hearts of the inhabitants of the earth's inhabitants shall be changed and converted to a different spirit. For evil shall be blotted out, and deceit shall be quenched. Faithfulness shall flourish, and corruption shall be overcome. And the truth, which has so long been without fruit, shall be revealed. Conclusion of the second vision, and I'm going to get out of here because I really got to go eat. But I hope a lot of people will learn from this study here. And it probably might help you guys understand prophecy a little bit better, and scriptures that you don't understand a little bit better. And I would encourage you guys go read your whole chapters in your Bible and see if this actually indeed fits and ties in. Okay. While he spoke to me, behold, little by little, the place where I was standing began to rock to and fro. And he said to me, I have come to show you these things this night. If therefore you will pray again and fast for 7 days, I will declare to you greater things than these, because your voice has surely been heard before the Most High. For the mighty one has seen your uprightness and has also observed your purity, which you have maintained from your youth. Therefore, he sent me to show you all these things and say to you, believe and do not be afraid. Do not be quick to think vain thoughts concerning the former times, lest ye be hasty concerning the last times. Right? Right. So we know we're in the last times. So give me a second, guys. I'm about to go grab this cup of coffee real quick. Give me about 3 minutes. Oh, Brian, I covered Esdras on many videos. You can go back in my channel and listen to the complete audio book, but I'm just pointing this out because when I see prophecy happening, I got to point it out and show, where I'm getting it from. Just so people don't think I'm trying to be a false prophet or something. I'm just going by what scriptures say. So just give me a second, guys. All right, back. Drink this coffee real quick, guys. I need to wake up. I'm so sorry. I don't know how I'm doing it. I didn't get no sleep last night. I only had like 2 hours of sleep. So I'm running off fumes right now. All right. All right. So let's back into this. All right. So third vision. And I'm going to cut it. I'm going to see, look. This also right here, this ties in with Genesis chapter 1 right here. We're going to bring this up in a minute, but this is the third vision. Now, after this, I wept again and fasted 7 days as before in order to complete the 3 weeks as I had been told. And on the 8th night, my heart was troubled within me again. Excuse me. And I began to speak in the presence of the Most High, for my spirit was greatly aroused and my soul was in distress. Let me go down. All right. So, guys, if you have your Bibles next to you, go to Genesis chapter 1, read it while I'm reading this, and you'll see that, all these prophets and everybody knew the creation, although, they described it, right? But even they believed in the creation of the Most High, because Ezra says this, God's work in creation. And I said, O Lord, thou didst speak at the beginning of creation, and didst say on the first day, let heaven and earth be made, and thy word accomplish the work. And the spirit was hovering, and darkness and silence embraced everything. Excuse me. And the sound of man's voice was not yet there. And that then thou didst command that a ray of light be brought forth from thy treasury, so that thy works might then appear. Again, on the second day, thou didst create the spirit of the firmament, and didst command him to divide and separate the waters, that one part might move upward, and the other part remain beneath. On the third day, thou didst command the waters to be gathered together in the seventh part of the earth. 6 parts didst thou dry up and keep, so that some of them might be planted and cultivated to be of service for thee before thee. For thy word went forth, and at once the work was done. So this is God basically speaking everything into existence, right? He spoke it. So Ezra knew this. And you guys can follow along in Genesis. It's the same story, although this story here was taken out the book, right? Out the Bible. You'll see that it's something funny that these texts here fit in with scripture, but it's not canon. Why is that? But I beg to differ. For thy word went forth, and at once the work was done. For immediately fruit came forth in endless abundance, and a very appeal to the taste, and flowers of innumerable color, and odors of inexpressible fragrance. These were made on the third day. On the fourth day, thou didst command the brightness of the sun, and the light of the moon, and the arrangement of the stars to come into being. And thou didst command them to serve man who was about to be formed. On the fifth day, thou didst command the seventh part where the water had been gathered together to bring forth living creatures, birds and fishes. And so it was done. The dumb and lifeless water produced living creatures as it was commanded, that therefore the nations might declare thy wondrous works. Then, well, they're not declaring his wondrous works because everything is science-based now. It's not God created this, right? It's science to many. But I beg to differ. Hopefully people will come out of that deception of science. Thou didst keep in existence 2 living creatures. The name of one thou didst call Bohemeth, and the name of the other Leviathan. And thou didst separate one from the other, for the seventh part where the water had been gathered together could not hold them both. And thou didst give Behemoth one of the seventh part, which had been dried up on the third day, to live in it, where there be 1,000 mountains. So Behemoth is in a region where there are 1,000 mountains. Okay, that's what it says here. But to Leviathan thou didst give the seventh part, the watery part, and thou hast kept them to be eaten by whom thou wilt and when thou wilt. On the sixth day thou didst command the earth to bring forth the cattle, beasts, and creeping things, and over these didst thou place Adam as ruler over all the works which thou hast made, and from him we have all come, and the people whom thou hast chosen. And it says here, why do God's people suffer? All right, this is God's people, how they're suffering. And this is also playing out right now in these end times. We're suffering, but you'll find that out when you see who's suffering and who's not, right? According to scripture. Because according to scripture, God's people is suffering in the end times. Here we are in the end times. All this I have spoken before thee, O Lord, because thou hast said that it was for us that thou didst create this world. As for the other nations which have descended from Adam, thou hast said that they are nothing, that they are like spittle, and thou hast compared their abundance to a drop from a bucket. Now, O Lord, behold, these nations which are reputed as nothing domineer over us and devour us. But we, thy people, whom thou hast called thy firstborn, only begotten, zealous for thee, and most dear, have been given into their hands. If the world has indeed been created for us, why do we not possess our world as an inheritance? How long will this be so? And then he goes into the next chapter. I guess I'll read this one before I go eat, because I love reading this. I love reading and bringing truth right? So this is going to be the last chapter. I promise, guys, I promise. This last chapter going on 2 hours anyway. Okay, this is Ezra's response, just so you guys could get an understanding of what's being said here. And he said this: When I have finished speaking these words, the angel who had been sent to me on a former night was sent to me again and said to me, Rise, Ezra, and listen to the words that I have come to speak to you. I said, Speak, my Lord. And he said to me, There is a sea set in a wide expanse that is broad, and so that is broad and vast, but it has an entrance set on a narrow place, so that it is like a river. If any man then wishes to reach the sea, to look at it or to navigate it, how can he come to the broad part unless he passes through the narrow part? Another example, there's a city built and set on a plain, and it is full of all good things, but the entrance to it is narrow and set in a precipitous place, so that there is fire on the right hand and deep water on the left. There is only one path lying between them, that is between the fire and the water, so that only one man can walk upon that path. All right, so look, this also ties in with scriptures, right? When it says, enter ye in at the straight gate, right? Enter ye in at the straight gate. This is what Ezra is talking about. Says here, enter ye in at the straight gate, for the gate is wide, for wide is the gate and broad is the way which leadeth to destruction, and many there be which go in thereat. But straight is the gate and narrow is the way which leadeth unto life, and few there be that find it. So you're going to get this you're going to get the same thing right here, right? When he's talking about the passing through the narrow part, right? And then he says here, going down, only one man can walk upon it. Like this is a personal thing, right? Only one man can walk this path. No one else can walk this path for you, right? If now that city is given to a man for inheritance, how will the heir receive his inheritance unless he passes through the danger set before him? And I said, He cannot, Lord. And he said to me, So is Israel's portion, for I have made the world for their sake. But when Adam transgressed my statutes, what had been made was judged. And so the entrances of this world were made narrow and sorrowful and toilsome, and they are few and evil and full of dangers and involved in great hardships. But the entrances of the greater world are broad and safe, and really yield the fruit of immortality. Therefore, unless the living pass through the difficult and vain experiences, they can never receive those things that have been reserved for them. But why are you disturbed, seeing that you are to perish? And why are you moved, seeing that you are mortal? And why have you not considered in your mind what is to come rather than what is now present? And this is the fate of the ungodly, right? Same thing we get in Revelation and all the other chapters in our Bible. It all ties in together. Nothing that God gives to his people, the prophets, or anybody that's been given prophecy to the Most High contradicts his word. Nothing. This is how you rightfully divide the words of truth, right? Look, this is what it means. This is why he says, study to show thyself approved, right? 2 Timothy 15. Study to show thyself approved unto God. A good workman needeth not to be ashamed, rightfully dividing the word of truth, right? So you got to rightfully divide the word of truth by reading and seeing if it all fits in, right? And he said unto me, You are not a better judge than God, or wiser than the Most High. Let many perish who are now living, rather than that the law of God, which is set before them, be disregarded. For God strictly commended those who came into the world, when they came, what they should do to live, and what they should observe to avoid punishment. Nevertheless, they were not obedient and spoke against him. They devised for themselves vain thoughts and proposed for themselves wicked frauds. They even declared that the Most High does not exist, and they ignored his ways. They scorned his law and denied his covenants. They have been unfaithful to his statutes and have not performed his works. And this is the temporary messianic kingdom that's coming. Therefore, Ezra, empty things are for the empty, and full things are for the full. For behold, the time will come when the signs which I have foretold you will come to pass, and that the city which is now not seen shall appear, and the land which is now hidden shall be disclosed, and everyone who has been delivered from the evils that I have foretold shall see my wonders. So it says right here in verse 27, everyone who has been delivered from the evils that he has foretold shall see his wonders. So, guys, just strive to walk a straight, narrow path so that you could be present at these amazing hours. Well, they're going to be amazing, but also dangerous. Excuse me. Coffee. All right. And it says here, for my son, the Messiah, shall be revealed with those who are with him, and those who remain shall rejoice 400 years. And after these years, my son, the Messiah, shall die, and all who draw human breath. And the world shall be turned back to primeval silence for 7 days, as it was at the first beginning, so that no one shall be left. And after 7 days, the world which is not yet awakened shall be aroused, and that which is corruptible shall perish. The earth shall give up those who are asleep in it, right? Where is this at? Revelation 20, right? Revelation 20. This is what this one is talking about in Ezra. Ezra's quoting Revelation 20 here, right? After 1,000-year millennial reign, right? This is the temporary messianic kingdom that's being talked about in Esdras. And it says here, and I saw a great white throne, and him that sat on it, from whose face the earth and heaven fled away, and there was found no place for them. And I saw the dead, small and great, stand before God, and the books were open, and another book was open, which is the book of life. And the dead were judged out of those things which were written in the books according to their works. The sea also gave up the dead which were in it. Death and hell delivered up the dead which were in them, and they were judged every man according to their works. Death and hell were cast into the lake of fire. This is the second death. And whosoever was not found written in the book of life was cast into the lake of fire. So we want to be in the book of life. We don't want to get cast into the other books, right? And it says here, and the earth shall give up those who are asleep in it, and the dust those who dwell silently in it. And this is also talking about this Daniel 12 prophecy, right? Many of them that sleep in the dust, right? Many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life and some to shame and everlasting contempt. Well, this is the same story here. Let me see. After that, oh God, I read that. The dust. Okay, right here. And the chambers shall give up the souls which have been committed to them. And the Most High shall be revealed upon the seat of judgment, and compassion shall pass away, and patience shall be withdrawn, and only judgment shall remain. Truth shall stand, and faithfulness shall grow, and recompense shall follow, and the reward shall be made. The reward shall be manifest. Righteous deeds shall awake, and unrighteous deeds shall not sleep. Then the pit of torment shall appear, and opposite shall be the place of rest. And the furnace of hell shall be disclosed, and opposite it the paradise of delight. Then the Most High will say to the nations that have been raised from the dead, look now and understand whom you have denied, whom you have not served, whose commandments you have despised. Look on this side and on that. Here are delight and rest, and there are fire and torments. Thus will he speak to them on the day of judgment, a day that has no sun or moon or stars, or cloud, or lightning, or thunder, or wind, or water, or air, or darkness, or evening, or morning, or summer, or spring, or heat, or winter, or frost, or cold, or hail, or rain, or dew, or noon, or night, or dawn, or shining, or brightness, or light, but only the splendor of the glory of the Most High, which all shall see what has been determined for them. For it will last about a week of years. This is my judgment in its prescribed order. To you alone have I shown these things. Only a few will be saved, right? This is made clear even in the scriptures, right? Many are called, but few are saved, right? Right here, many are called, few are chosen. And it's another one in the Bible that states these exact words. Where is it? I think it's in Luke that states it like that. Many are called, but few are chosen. Is it in Luke? It's another one in Luke. Okay. Let's just put in Luke behind this, see if it'll bring it up. Luke 13. Yeah, I knew it was in Luke. Luke 13, 23. See, but it gives you verse, like most of the stuff is just repeated over and over, right? Here we go. It says right here. Then said one unto him, Lord, are there few that be saved? And he said to them, strive to enter in at the straight gate. For many, I say unto you, will seek to enter in and shall not be able. All right. And then he says, once the master of the house has risen up and shut the door, right? And yeah. And this is why I say them Hebrews that you guys see on the street corners, they're going to get destroyed. Basically, anybody standing on the street corners like that, preaching, well, it says right here, when once the master of the house is risen up and hath shut the door, and ye begin to stand without and to knock at the door, saying, Lord, Lord, open to us. And he shall answer and say unto you, I know you not. Whence are ye? Then shall ye begin to say, we have eaten and drunk in thy presence, and thou hast taught in our streets. But he shall say, I tell you, I know you not whence ye are. Depart from me, ye, all ye workers of iniquity. Right? This is what it's talking about here. Only a few will be saved. I answered and said, O sovereign Lord, I said then and I say now, blessed are those who are alive and keep thy commandments. But what of those for whom I prayed? For whom among the living is there that has not sinned, or who among men that has not transgressed thy covenant? And now I see that the world to come will bring delight for few, but torments to many. For an evil heart has grown up in us, which has alienated us from God, and has brought us into corruption and the ways of death, and have shown us the paths of perdition, and removed us far from life, and that not just a few of us, but almost all who have been created. And he answered me and said, listen to me, Ezra, and I will instruct you and admonish you yet again. For this reason, the Most High has made not one, but two worlds. For whereas you have said that the righteous are not many, but few, while the ungodly abound, hear the explanation for this. If you have just a few precious stones, will you add to them lead and clay? And I said, Lord, how could that be? And he said to me, not only that, but ask the earth and she will tell you. Defer to her and she will declare it to you. Say to her, you have produced gold, silver, and brass, and iron, and lead, and clay. But silver is more abundant than gold, and brass than silver, and iron than brass, and lead than iron, and clay than lead. Judge therefore which things are precious and desirable, those that are abundant or those that are rare. I said, O sovereign Lord, what is plentiful is of less worth, for what is more is rare, for what is more rare is more precious. And he answered me and said, weigh within yourself what you have thought, for he who has what is hard to get rejoices that more than he who has what is plentiful. Excuse me. So also will be the judgment which I have promised, for I will rejoice over the few who shall be saved, because it is they who have made my glory to prevail now, and through them my name has now been honored. And I will not grieve over the multitude of those who perish, for it is they who are now like a mist and similar to a flame and smoke. They are set on fire and burn hotly and are extinguished. And this is Ezra's lamentation. This is his sorrows for those that are going to go through this. So this is when Ezra intercedes for those people. He tries to ask the Most High to change his mind about it, but, the Most High doesn't change, right? So he says this. I replied and said, O earth, what have you brought forth? If the mind is made out of the dust like the other created things, for it would have been better if the dust itself had not been born, so that the mind might not have been made from it. But now the mind grows with us, and therefore we are tormented because we perish and know it. Let the human race lament, but let the beasts of the field be glad. Let all who have been born lament, but let the four-footed beasts and the flocks rejoice, for it is much better than them than with us. For they do not look for a judgment, nor do they know of any torment of salvation promised to them after death. For what does it profit us that we should be preserved alive and cruelly tormented? For all who have been born are involved in iniquities and are full of sins and burdened with transgressions. And if we were not to come into judgment after death, perhaps it would have been better for us. And then this is also stated, right? It is appointed, right? It is appointed for man once to die. After that, the judgment, right? After we die, we get judged, right? It says it right here, Hebrews 9:27. And as it is appointed unto man once to die, but after this, the judgment, right? That blows out that reincarnation as well. So, says here, he answered me and said, when the Most High made the world and Adam and all who have come from him, he first prepared the judgment and the things that pertain to the judgment. And now understand from your own words, for you have said that the mind grows with us. For this reason, therefore, those who dwell on earth shall be tormented, because they had understanding, because though they had understanding, they committed iniquity, and though they received the commandment, they did not keep them. And though they obtained the law, they dealt unfaithfully with what they received. What then will they have to say in the judgment, or how will they answer in the last times? For how long the time is it that the Most High had been patient with those who inhabit the world, and not for their sakes, but because of the times which he has foreordained. State of the dead before judgment. And I'm going to leave after this. This is the last part. So this is what, when people die, these things right here happens, okay? And it's also stated in scripture, right? So it says here, state of the dead before judgment. I answered and said, if I have found favor in thy sight, O Lord, show this to thy servant, whether after death, as soon as every one of us yields up his soul, we shall be kept in rest until those times come, or wilt thou, when thou wilt renew the creation, or whether we shall be tormented at once. He answered me and said, I will show you that also, but do not be associated with those who have shown scorn, or number yourself among those who are tormented. For you have a treasure of works laid up with the Most High, but it will not be shown to you until the last times. Now concerning death, the teaching is when the Most High, when the decisive decree has gone forth from the Most High that a man shall die, as his spirit leaves the body to return again to who gave it, first it adores the glory of the Most High. And if it is one of those who have shown scorn and have not kept the ways of the Most High, and who have despised his law, and who have hated those who fear God, such spirits shall not enter into habitations, but shall immediately wander about in torments, ever grieving and sad in 7 ways. The first way, because they have scorned the law of the Most High. The second way, because they cannot now make a good repentance that they may live. The third way, they shall see the reward laid up for those who have trusted the covenants of the Most High. The fourth way, they shall consider the torment laid up for themselves in the last days. The fifth way, they shall see how the habitations of the others are guarded by angels in profound quiet. The sixth way, they shall see how some will pass over into torments. The seventh way, which is worse than all the ways that have been mentioned, because they shall utterly waste away in confusion and be consumed with shame, and shall wither away with fear at seeing the glory of the Most High, before whom they sinned while they were alive, and before whom they are to be judged in the last times. This is the order of those who have kept the ways of the Most High, when they shall be separated from their mortal body. During the time they lived in it, they laboriously served the Most High and withstood danger every hour, that they might keep the law of the lawgiver perfectly. Therefore, this is the teaching concerning them. First of all, they shall see with great joy the glory of him who receives them. For they shall have rest in 7 orders. The first order, because they have striven with great effort to overcome the evil thought which was formed within them, that it might not lead them astray from life into death. The second order, because they see the perplexity in which the souls of the ungodly wander, and the punishment that awaits them. The third order, they see the witness which who formed them bears them. Wait a minute. Okay, let's start this over. The third order, they see the witness which he who formed them bears concerning them, that while they were alive, they kept the law which was given them in trust. The fourth order, they understand the rest which they now enjoy, being gathered in their chambers and guarded by angels in profound quiet, and the glory of which awaits them in the last days. The fifth order, they rejoice that they have now escaped what is corruptible and shall inherit what is to come. And besides, they see the straits and toil from which they have been delivered, and the spacious liberty which they are to receive and enjoy in immortality. The sixth order, when it is shown to them how their faces shall shine like the sun, like it says in Daniel, but they that be wise shall shine as the brightness of the firmament, and they that turn many to righteousness as the stars forever and ever. Right? The sixth order, when it is shown to them how their faces shall shine like the sun, and how they are to be made like the light of the stars, being incorruptible from then on. The seventh order, which is greater than all that have been mentioned, because they shall rejoice with boldness, and shall be confident without confusion, and shall be glad without fear, for they hasten to behold the face of him whom they served in life, and from whom they are to receive their reward when glorified. This is the order of the souls of the righteous, as henceforth is announced, and as foresaid are the ways of torment which those who would not give heed shall suffer hereafter. I answered and said, will the time therefore be given to the souls after they have been separated from the bodies to see what you have described to me? He said to me, they shall have freedom for 7 days, so that during these 7 days they may see the things of which you have been told, and afterwards they shall be gathered in their habitations. No intercession for the ungodly. This is when, if you die, that's it. No more repentance. No more breath of, no more speaking, right? You got to do everything here. Get it right here first, right? So it says this, no intercession for the ungodly. And I believe this, wow. Lamentation over fate of most people. Yeah, we could finish this out. Just keep it. All right, I'm just going to blast through this, guys. I answered and said, if I have found favor in thy sight, show me further thy servant, whether on the day of judgment the righteous will be able to intercede for the ungodly, or to entreat the Most High for them, fathers for sons, sons for sons for parents, brothers for brothers, relatives for their kinsmen or friends, for those who are most dear. He answered me and said, since you have found favor in my sight, I will show you this also. The day of judgment is decisive and displays to all the seal of truth. Just as now a father does not send his son, or a son his father, or a master his servant, or a friend his dearest friend, to be ill or sleep or eat or be healed in his stead. So no one shall ever pray for another on that day, neither shall anyone lay a burden on another. For then everyone shall bear his own righteousness and unrighteousness, right? Matthew 5:17 through 20, right? Except your righteousness exceed the righteousness of the scribes and the Pharisees, right? I answered and said, how then do we find that first Abraham prayed for the people of Sodom, and Moses for our fathers who sinned in the desert, and Joshua after him for Israel in the days of Achan, and Samuel in the days of Saul, and David for the plague, and Solomon for those in the sanctuary, and Elijah for those who receive rain, and for the one who is dead that he might live, and Hezekiah for the people in the days of, I don't know how to pronounce that, and many others prayed for many. If therefore the righteous have prayed for the ungodly now, when corruption has increased and unrighteousness has multiplied, why will it not be so then as well? He answered me and said, this present world is not the end, for the full glory does not abide in it. Therefore, those who are strong pray for the weak. But the day of judgment will be the end of this age and the beginning of the immortal age to come, in which corruption has passed away, sinful indulgence has come to an end, unbelief has been cut off, and righteousness has increased, and truth has appeared. Therefore, no one will then be able to have mercy on him who has been condemned in the judgment, or to harm him who is victorious. This is the lamentation over the fate of most people. I answered and said, this is my first and last word, that it would have been better for the earth that it would have been better if the earth had not produced Adam, or else when it produced him, it restrained him from sinning. For what good is it to all that they live in sorrow now and expect punishment after death? O Adam, what have you done? For though it was you who sinned, the fall was not yours alone, but ours also who are your descendants. For what good is it to us that if an eternal age have been promised to us, but we have done deeds that bring forth death? And what good is it that an everlasting hope has been promised us, but we have miserably failed? Or what safe and healthful habitations have been reserved for us, but we have lived wickedly? or that the glory of the Most High will defend those who have led a pure life, but we walked in the most wicked ways, or that a paradise shall be revealed whose fruits remain unspoiled, and which are abundance in healing, but we shall not enter it, because we have lived in unseemly places, or that the faces of those who practice self-control shall shine more than the stars, but our faces shall be blacker than darkness. For while we lived and committed iniquity, we did not consider what we should suffer after death. He answered and said, this is the meaning of the contest which every man who is born on earth shall wage, that if he is defeated, he shall suffer what you have said, but if he is victorious, he shall receive what I have said. For this is the way which Moses, while he was alive, spoke to the people, saying, choose for yourself life that you may live. But they did not believe him, nor the prophets after him, or even myself who have spoken to them. Therefore there shall not be grief at their destruction, so much as joy over those whom salvation is assured. And then Ezra appeals to God's mercy. So he intercedes and he says, well, it's not, he says it's not going to be a lot of people storing up good works. So let's listen to this part. And he says that, he intercedes for these people, and the Most High says, well, you said some things are all right, so I'm going to grant these things just for your sake, right? So he says this, and I said, oh, I know, O Lord, that the Most High is now called merciful, because he has mercy on those who have not yet come into the world, and gracious because he is gracious to those who turn in repentance to his law, right? So he shows grace to those that turn to repentance and follow the law, right? This is why I tell people it's important. Even the Bible says it's important. And patience because he shows patience towards those who have sinned, since they are his own works, and bountiful because he would rather give than take away, and abundant in compassion because he makes his compassions abound more and more to those now living, and to those who are gone, and to those yet to come. For if he did not make them abound, the world with those who inhabit it would not have life. So, and he is called giver because if he did not give out of his goodness, so that those who committed iniquities might be relieved of them, not 1/10,000th of mankind would have life. And judge because if he did not pardon those who were created by his word, and blotted out the multitude of their sins, and there would probably be left only very few of the innumerable multitude. So we have a clear understanding that, it's not an easy walk, but it is once it's easy when you practice it. Like I tell people, just practice keeping the Sabbath. Don't go to work. Don't spend any money on the Sabbath. Stay in the house and read your Bible. That's all he asks for us, right? That's all he asks for us. Let me see what's in this chat here. Sorry, guys. When I'm teaching, I'll be focused, so I don't really be in the chat like that until like after the show. Let's see. Hey, Krish. Brian. Thank you, bro. I already know you're not like that. Krish says pseudoscience. I'm all for learning new stuff. It all ties together. Yes, it does. And also, you also get a understanding of prophecy. I would dare to say you have the gift of prophecy. Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say it's a gift of prophecy. I wouldn't say it's a gift. Well, it is a gift, but I wouldn't say that, the Most High gave me the gift. I just tend to look at what's going on in the world Well, he opened my eyes to truth first and foremost, right? So if I look out into the world and I'm reading God's word and I see that it's something that the Most High said is going to happen and take place, and I see it happening in the world, well, you just put two and two together and then there you go, right? Like we see all the stuff of the end times happening, and I had to give you guys a clear understanding that it's more to it. Like we seen those fires happening that were breaking out in 2020 and all like that. But let me continue on with the chat. Hello, high five. Krish. And everybody else that's viewing. Thank you guys for sticking it out for these 2 hours and 30 minutes. I enjoy reading the Bible, you know, and speaking truth, because at the end of the day, man, we got to figure out why are we in this state we're in, right? We got to look out into the world. And like I encourage people, turn my screen on. This is your textbook here. When you step outside, it's the classroom, right? So when you step outside, you know, you got your textbook, your Bible's your textbook, the earth's your classroom, right? Everything God said, you're going to be able to see it, right? Yes, right, Chris. Floods, volcanoes, you even got a rhino walking through a city, right? I showed that. You guys could go back and look at that. I'm not going to show it again. For anybody that missed that when I was doing the whole thing. So today I had to mix it up because I seen that video and I was like, well, this ties in with Esdras. So let me read Esdras because, you know, that'll give people a better understanding of why these animals are roaming beyond their hunts. We're in the last days. So that's why I try and read this in its entirety so, you know, everybody could, you know, just have a clear understanding, like, because that's how I learned. I had to read whole chapters, and it makes sense when you do that. Like, it's like, and it's a big weight lifted off your shoulders. It help you walk that walk that you're supposed to walk, that straight and narrow path. Because then now you like, okay, I know not to do this, or else I'm going to have to face this punishment. And that's how we all should be thinking. Every day we wake up, we should be thinking, how do I avoid any evil, any wickedness? How do I avoid sin today? That's what, you know, that's what I wake up. So I wake up and you guys always see me on my bike, or I'm just probably sitting here doing these lives, or I'm just sitting here watching news events and stuff like that. So just to show, just to let you guys know, you know, even on my bike rides, I, you know, talk about, on my bike rides, I talk about things that's going on in my community and certain technologies that I see being put up in my area. And after this live, I'm going to take a trip down to my friend's house, the one that got epilepsy, and go down here and check on him. And before I move to Fairfield, because, yeah, I'm going to miss everybody down here, but I just got to get out of this city. You say Ecclesiastes 12. Let's see. Ecclesiastes 12. You know, I read Ecclesiastes, but I only read about 9 chapters. I don't think I got to 12 yet. Oh, yes. Remember the Creator, right? And this also, Krish. Krish. Hello, David. Krish, that ties in with the Esdras. Hey, David, don't worry about where I'm moving. Nah. How are you, David? I'm glad you've been sitting in here so you can see how hateful I am, buddy. Now does it dawn on you, David, that I'm not so hateful that I read my Bible and I read everything trying to type it in? It's all good, David. I don't have a problem with you, David. I just don't like wickedness, David. That's all I hate. I hate evil. I don't hate people. I hate evil. Okay? That should become apparent to you. Well, David, you act like I don't. I mean, you say I cherry pick. No, David. I didn't say that. Did I say, David, you're wicked? No, those words didn't come out of my mouth, David. I said, I don't hate people. I hate evil. Okay? That's all I said. I didn't call you evil. David, when did you hear those words come out of my mouth? Or when did you ever see that in chat? When did you ever see me say, David, you're wicked? I mean, show me that, please. I mean, I'm not the judge, David. I'm not the one to judge. I'm just the messenger. But you now have a clear understanding that I don't cherry pick scripture, don't you? So you can't say that anymore. You can now see I have a understanding of what's going on now. I would hope so. Because that's all I care about, David. I care about the truth, okay? That's why I say what I say. You read between the lines, David? That's good. It's good you read between the lines. Well, from now on, read between the lines. When I tell you that, I do this because it's true, okay? It's the truth, David. I'm not going to sit here and lie to people, okay? David, I used to play poker too. Only people, during poker, when I used to gamble, when I used to commit that sin, when I was around 25, I was like a good poker player. No one could tell when I was, bluffing or not. You know what a poker face is? You don't give any indication of anything, right? So that's why I have my poker face on all the time, right? Yeah, well, David, I used to be there, David. I don't gamble anymore. I don't even buy lottery tickets anymore, David, because we're not supposed to love money. I don't love money. The creator is going to provide for us, right, David? I mean, at least you do believe that, right? Yeah, well, it's all the same. It's all in the same boat, David. It's gambling. It's not cool. Right? I didn't say it was evil. The love of money is evil, as the scriptures say, but playing poker isn't evil. If you play poker, you're eventually going to end up loving money, right? I was there, David. I know. I mean, only if people knew, right? Let me see. I'm gonna get my picture book of when I was a bad boy, David. So you can see the complete change. Hold on, let me find my picture book real quick. Is this it? Yeah, David, I'm pretty sure it is, right? Should be. What if I told you guys, everybody in here, when I was younger, right? Boy, just looking at these pictures, man. Oh, boy. When I was younger, I used to worship the devil without even knowing I was worshiping the devil. I just thought it was, hey, these are cool hand signs, guys. But look at this. When I came to the knowledge of the truth and I started seeing what these hand signs meant, I said, I can't believe I was worshiping the devil. You all know what this hand sign is, right? Wasn't even knowing what I was putting up with this hand sign here. And this is a satanic hand sign. I didn't know that at that age. I was dumb and blind and stuck in the world, right? Loving the world, right? Let's go into the other picture. This is when I was about 24, 25 or something. It's when I was 25. When I was making a lot of money selling drugs. You know, that's when I became rebellious. Took me until I was 20. Wait. No, this was when I was 18. This was when I was 18. I forgot. This was my 18th birthday. I was 18 at that time, and it took me until I was like 26 to get it right. Right? Seen a lot of friends die in these streets. In fact, I don't even have nothing but one real friend left because all the rest are dead or in jail, right? Either gunning each other down or, gunned down by the cops, right? Sad. Or drug overdose, right? So, I bear my trials and my tribulations, and there's been many, right? So, and I want to say, David, thank you for coming over and stopping by, bro. I don't have a problem with anybody. I just want you to know I care about the truth and I care about these scriptures. That's it. And that's all. But with that said, everybody, have a happy Passover.